Have you ever found the Christian doctrine of the Trinity confusing? The idea that God is one, but also three persons, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. If you've scratched your head over how one God can be three distinct, co-equal persons without being three separate gods, you're definitely not alone. For over 1,600 years, this very doctrine has been a source of debate, division, and confusion. But what if I told you the number one reason for all this confusion is not the doctrine itself, but a single word? In this video, we're going to uncover the root cause of this ancient puzzle and suggest a clear way forward. So, let's get straight to it. The biggest problem with the Trinity doctrine today is the modern definition of the word person. When we hear three persons, we immediately think of three separate individuals, each with their own mind, will, and consciousness. Applying this 21st century understanding to a 4th century doctrine accidentally turns the Trinity into a belief in three gods, which is exactly what the early church leaders were trying to avoid. To unravel this, we need to go back in time. The words Trinity, or three persons in one God, do not actually appear in the Bible. The concept was developed by early church fathers to explain the biblical reality they saw. The Father is God, Jesus the Son is God, and the Holy Spirit is God. Yet the Bible insists there is only one God. This was a huge theological challenge. They had to maintain strict monotheism, the belief in one God. The doctrine was formally shaped over centuries, primarily through church councils like the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD and the Constantinople Council in 381. The goal was never to suggest three separate divine individuals or three minds. As the great theologian Augustine said, the Father, Son, and Spirit share one power and one wisdom, not three. So how did they solve this one and three paradox? They made a crucial distinction. They said God is one in his essence, or being, but he exists in three distinctions or persons. Essentially, God is one, what but three whos? The challenge was finding the right words. Since no perfect biblical terms existed, they borrowed from Greek philosophy. For God's unified being, they used the Greek word ousia, meaning core essence or substance. They said the Father, Son, and Spirit are homousios. This means of the same one essence. This established that God has one divine nature, one mind, one will, and one center of consciousness. Now for the threeness. For the level of distinction, they chose the Greek words hypostasis and prosopon. The Trinity formula now became God is one homoousios and three hypostasis. This is where the modern confusion begins. The ancient Greek word hypostasis did not mean person as we understand it. It meant an underlying reality or a distinct subsistence. It described three real, distinct manifestations within the single being of God, not three separate conscious individuals. Then they used the word prosopon. This originally meant a theatrical mask, a face, or a role an actor plays. It was used to give a personal identity or role to each hypostasis. But again, it never meant an individual with a separate mind or will. When the doctrine was translated into Latin, they used the word persona. In classical times, persona also meant a theatrical mask or a character in a play. It did not mean a self-conscious individual. So, where did it all go wrong? Over the centuries, the meanings of these words, prosopon, persona, and eventually the English word person began to shift. They slowly evolved from meaning a role or mask to meaning an individual self. In the 17th century, the philosopher John Locke helped cement the modern definition of a person as a being with a distinct center of consciousness. And that's the problem. We're using a 21st century dictionary to read a 4th century doctrine. When a modern person hears God as three persons, they hear God as three separate, self-aware beings, which is tritheism, not Christianity. This mismatch in language is the primary reason for the endless confusion and disagreement. So, what's the way forward? The solution is simpler than you might think. We need a modern word or phrase that captures the original meaning of hypostasis and prosopon, without the baggage of the modern word person. After looking at various options, a strong candidate appears to be the phrase personal instance. Let's break that down. The word instance aligns well with hypostasis. An instance is a specific occurrence of something that represents a larger whole, yet distinct from other occurrences of the same kind. So, we could say God is three distinct instances of a divine personal presence, all within the one divine being. The word personal here maintains the who aspect, showing these aren't just impersonal forces, but have a relational identity. This phrase, personal instance, preserves the essential distinction without implying three separate gods. It gives us three real, distinct occurrences of God's personal presence, without creating three separate centers of consciousness. Instead of saying, God is one being who exists as three persons, we could say, God is one being who exists as three personal instances of himself. This phrasing is more accurate to the original intent and uses modern language that everyone can understand. It gets rid of the historical and theological baggage that causes so much confusion. Ultimately, clear communication is key. To avoid misunderstanding, we need to use language that accurately reflects the intended meaning. Personal instance is just one suggestion. There may be even better words out there. The important thing is to update our language to make this core concept understandable again. What do you think? Do you have any suggestions for a better word or phrase to describe the three-in-one nature of God? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and if you found this helpful, please like and subscribe for more content that makes you think.